Hello guys, in today's video we will talk about something very interesting, something about authentication. Dj-Rest-Auth is a beautiful package that provides a set of RESTful API authentication endpoints that can be used easily to handle authentication and registration tasks in your project. So if you are wondering what to choose, whether by building your authentication REST API endpoints from scratch by yourself or using a well-maintained tested package like Dj-Rest-Auth, the second option can be something great to do. So this package is well documented and recommended by the official documentation of Django-REST framework. As you can see, the name of this package listed in its authentication section. Here's the official repo of this package. It's active, and you can also run test using coverage to test, this package and see how it's covered. And also, I have the official documentation here. I will set the link to the official documentation of this package in the description below, along with the link to the GitHub repository. And yeah, that's all I think. Right, so before I get started, I want to mention that this package is using token authentication as default, but you can switch to GWT, for example, in the future, because there are some settings for this purpose being implemented and tested to provide as well GWT authentication. So that being said, let's get started by installing the package. I think I already installed this in my virtual environment, but let me do this again just to make sure. So here we have pip installed DJ, here's the dash, Rest-Auth, and yes, as I said, it's already installed. And now let's include this in our installed apps list of our settings.py. So to do this, let's put this next to REST framework, third-party app, let's say Dj-Rest_Auth. Here we also need REST framework token because we need this to generate the token since the package is using token authentication as default. Then we have to include the URL that this package provides to have some basic endpoints like login, logout, and change password user. So let me deactivate the one that Django-REST frameworks comes with. This endpoint is not enough for us for an authentication system. So let's go to the documentation again and copy the URL here. Paste this pattern next to the previous one. And now we can, of course, run migrations, but I already migrate this app before, so I don't need to do this. I need just to run the server immediately. So you can do this, guys, if you are doing it for the first time. So now if I go to the server, you can see we have a new URL to be added to post and admin URLs. So let me just visit this and see how many endpoints we have. So normally we have password reset confirm. This one is very important to reset user's password in case they forget it. And also we have login and logout. We have user to get an info about the authenticated user. And also we have another endpoint to change the password of the authenticated user. So this requires users to be authenticated. So it means it's a protected, endpoint like post. Right, so let's have a demo to see how things work. But before we do this, we still need to have another endpoint to register your account because this URL pattern didn't provide this. So we need to add another pattern the package provides. It's called, Django REST-Auth registration, but in order to activate this, we need to install Django-Auth package because Django REST-Auth is using this package to handle registration tasks. So let's install this. We copy, paste this command in the terminal and run it. So I'm sorry. Okay, so I already installed this too, and let me just go to my settings and add these apps to the third-party apps. Here the install apps list with this place next to Django, which is Dj-Rest-Auth, and then we can add Django contrib sites here. I hope I can make a video about Django site framework. It's something very useful to know. Then I can add setting here, site ID. Okay, and now we can add the endpoint that we want to the list just by saying here, copy this and paste it next to the previous pattern. Add comment here. Well, so let's run now this server. Don't forget to run migrations before running this server because you are adding a new class and new registration tasks here, so it will be so important to run migrations. I don't do this because I already run this, so let me just go to Django-Rest-Auth. You can see a new endpoint has been added on registration. Right, so that's for how to implement the Django REST-Auth and incorporate it into your own project. But also Django REST-Auth provides other patterns that I'm not going to discuss in today's video. These patterns are for social media account authentication. So this package provides providers to authenticate users with Facebook, with their Twitter, GitHub accounts, which is something that seems to be useful as well to be added to your own project. But that depends on your own preferences. Some people can find this a little bit, find this not secure, and they just want to have very simple authentication like email, username, and password. That'll be very simple for any user. And users can feel insecure when they authenticate with their Facebook or their Google accounts. So, because the app that you are authenticated with can access your data. So, but anyway, this is another topic. So let's focus only on today's topic, Dj-Rest-Auth. And now let's have, a demo together and see how these endpoints work. So I think the first endpoint that we can get started with is registration. So yeah, let's create a fake account. Maybe we can call this account, I don't know, let's say book, because I have a book in front of me now. So let's say, or maybe let's put it book. Let's have fake account, book.com, sorry, here, at e.com. Then we can have fake password like, yeah, maybe as always, try 3. Okay. So now if I click on post, I should expect an error. Why? Because I don't set up the email backend. I don't set up all the settings as well for Django-Auth to work properly. And normally the settings that you need, depending on the demo the app is providing, the settings are, so let me just show you the settings that we will need to run, this properly. So let me go to settings.py here. From the demo, the package, the official documentation provides, and you can see here we have some settings. in addition to email backend, we have account email backend, account authentication method, account email verification. So the first one is clear because we use it in our project, but when it comes to account email backend, we are telling Django-Auth to use email as a required field and to use email or username as authentication method. But here, as default, Django-Rest-Auth use username as authentication method, which I think we need to change that to email instead. And also we need to keep the email verification optional for now. So I already have these packages, these settings in my settings.py, and I just need to, log in here. So what I did here, I tried to set the email as a required field and the email authentication, account authentication method to email, and I keep, account email verification optional as default, right? So now we can just save this file and go to restart the server. Maybe you don't need this, but sometimes you need that, right? So normally if I have, if I use the same account credentials in the registration endpoint, I would find, yes, I would get an authentication error that said this user with this email already exists. So since I have already registered with that account before I get this error, I will try to go immediately to login endpoints. So if you remember, guys, we are using token authentication, and the name or the email, since we are not using username as an authentication method, so we just email here. So the email is blueprint.com, and then the password is 123. So you can see now the token is generated. And that's what I have discussed in the previous video. We said now the token is sent to the server. The server is going to store this token in a table called token. So this token will be sent as well to the client side, and the user or developer should store this as cookie in the browser or in the local storage based on developer preferences. And this token will be passed later to the header of every HTTP request. If the token is valid, and how this is going to be valid is by checking it against the token that has been saved in the first step in the database. If they match, the request will proceed. If not, it will raise an authentication error to prevent users to access the protected resources, right? So this token now is not saved to, it's not saved as cookie or in the local storage, but we can do this later in the future videos from the client side using JavaScript library like Svelte or React or Angular, we'll see. But since this package is using token authentication and session authentication as well as default, our Django REST framework API is browsable now. So if I go to post, you can see, here, you can see here the endpoint, I can get access to it, and my account is authenticated because session authentication is there, right? If you go to the storage here, you can see session IDs stored here as cookie by default. But normally you have to deactivate this if you are going to connect this to a JavaScript front end. What you need to store instead is the token. But since our token or our Dj-Rest-Auth package using session authentication to keep the API browsable and token authentication as default, we say session ID here, user is authenticated. If there is no session authentication, we have to authenticate to get access to post because token is not stored as cookie in the browser. So that's all. So this is how it works. So let me just test here some other endpoints like logout, or maybe let's see Django-Rest-Auth user endpoint, and then we can keep the logout last. So here we can say Dj-Rest-Auth, and then we can add user endpoint. You can see we get some info about the user here, the email, and the ID. But I think we can customize this to get the username as well and other information. Also, we have another endpoint called change password change. So this endpoint is used to change the user's password. You can see here we have new password one, then you can confirm chosen password in the second password field. But maybe this endpoint is, lacks another field, which is old password. So Dj-Rest-Auth provides some sets of configuration you can use to customize the behavior of your authentication process. And as you can see here, we have an object, and this object contains some keys you can use and put in your project settings.py. So let me just take a look at the settings we have, in this object. So we have login serializer, token serializer, anything that starts with a serializer is used to customize the endpoint based on your own preferences. And then we have some other settings for the token, and some other settings that you may need for this tutorial is, password reset, use site domain if you want to reactivate site framework when it comes to password reset endpoint. Also, you can see that this field is disabled, so old password field I've been talking about. So in order to activate this field, you should have something like Rest-Auth. Yeah, let's do that together and see if this setting is working. And then we have logout and password change. So when you change a password, you can let users to authenticate again. And then we have used GWT. So this setting is it's helping you to switch to GWT authentication. And so if you switch to this kind of authentication, you should also customize the following settings: GW, HTTP only, and so on. But let's use let's just show you guys how to use at least one setting here. And let's choose, for example, logout on password, or maybe old password field enable. And what I'm going to do, I will try to open up this object in my settings.py. It's called Rest-Auth. Do it here, so maybe we can put it here, Rest-Auth. And so I need just one setting here to change. I just want to show you guys one example of how to do this. So let me just say old password. Alright. And then we can keep that. Change this to true. Okay, that's enough. I don't think that will be updated automatically in our endpoint. Oh yes, that works great. So you can see we have now old password. So now we can change, our password. So we choose try123. So let's keep it try12345, and then we can do try123. So now if I click on post, okay, new password has been saved. So you can add all the settings like logout and password change. So in case of, instead of getting this, I will be redirected to the login endpoint, right? To log in first. Sorry, to log out and then log in, right? So that's all about this. So let me just try it now, the logout endpoint. and then we can authenticate ourselves with the new password we set. Okay, so let me go to logout. So logout here is a post request. So this is going to take automatically the token and paste it, in the authorization header of the logout request. If the token is valid, it will proceed and will log out the user. If it's not, you'll get, an authentication error, right? So now let's click on post. You can see it's successfully loaded out. And if I go to post request, endpoint, you can see it's protected because the user is authenticated. So let me go back again to Django-Rest-Auth again. And now let me it's bluebook.com. So the password I set, let me set the old password. So I'll get an error here. But if I add new one, you can see a new token is generated now. Now I'm able to go to post, see the post. So also we have more endpoints that you can test by yourself as well, like that's what we set. So if I go to Django-Rest here, you can see we have password reset. So this one, in case you forget password, we can get this. And so you can test that as well. So we have more endpoints, you can test them, but don't forget to set up email server and root email account, to test it properly. So that's all for today's tutorial. Hope you can find this useful. If you have any questions or anything to recommend, please leave it in the comments below. That's all. See you and bye for now.
That's right.